So this is a song by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunnmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarini Jayu Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Te Namaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Namaskar Vidas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this is a bhajan written by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So he says, the official, this song is taken from the book, Bhakti Vinod Thakur says that we all are sinners at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. And due to this, we have no good qualities in us. We are puppets and have no control over this body. We have no transcendental knowledge. Hence, we should bow down at Govinda for his causeless mercy to deliver us from this sinful material land. He enacts different pastimes to help the fallen souls. Gopinath, Mama Nivedana Shuno Mama Nivedana Shuno Gopinath Mama Nivedana Shuno Mama Nivedana Shuno Vishayi Durjana Sada Kamarata Vishayi Durjana Sada Kamarata Kichu nahi mora guna Kichu nahi mora guna Gopinath Amara Bharata Tumi Amara Bharata Tumi Tomara Charani Loinu Sharana Tomara Charani Loinu Sharana Tomara Kinkora Ami Tomara Kinkora Ami गोपीनाथ गोपीनाथ के मने शोधिबे मोरे के मने शोधिबे मोरे ना जानी बकाती कर्मे जड़ा माती ना जानी बकाती कर्मे जड़ा माती पोरेची संसारा गोरे पोरेची संसारा गोरे गोपीनाथ गोपीनाथ सकाले तुम्हारा माया सकाले तुम्हारा माया नाही मामा बाला ज्ञाना सुनिर्माला नाही मामा बाला ज्ञाना सुनिर्माला स्वाधीना नहे ये काया स्वाधीना नहे ये काया गोपीनाथ गोपीनाथ नियाता चरणे स्थाना नियाता चरणे स्थाना मागे ये पामारा कांदिया कांदिया मागे ये पामारा कांदिया कांदिया करो हे करुणा दाना करो हे करुणा दाना गोपीनाथ गोपीनाथ तुम्ही तो सकाली पारो तुम्ही तो सकाली पारो दुर्जने तारीते तुम्हारा शाखाती दुर्जने तारीते तुम्हारा शाखाती के आचे पपीरारो के आचे पपीरारो गोपीनाथ गोपीनाथ तुम्ही कृपा पारा बरा तुम्ही कृपा पारा बारा दिवेरा कराने आशिया प्रपंचे दिवेरा कराने आशिया प्रपंचे लीला कोइले सुबिस्तारा लीला कोइले सुबिस्तारा गोपीनाथ गोपीनाथ आमी के दोषे दोषी आमी की दोषे दोषी आसुर सकाला पाइलो चराणा आसुर सकाला पालियो चराणा विनोदाता किलो बोसी विनोदाता किलो बोसी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Very beautifully sang by you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. O Gopinatha, Lord of the Gopis, please hear my request. I am a wicked materialist, always addicted to worldly desire, and no good qualities do I possess. O Gopinatha, you are my only hope, and therefore I have taken shelter at your lotus feet. I am now your eternal servant. O Gopinatha, how will you purify me? I do not know what devotion is, and my materialistic mind is absorbed in fruitive world. I have fallen into this dark and perilous worldly existence. O Gopinatha, everything here is your illusory energy. I have no strength or transcendental knowledge, and this body of mine is not independent and free from the control of material nature. O Gopinatha, this sinner who is weeping and weeping begs for an eternal place at your divine feet. Please give him your mercy. O Gopinatha, you are able to do anything, and therefore you have the power to deliver all sinner. Who is there that is more of a sinner than myself? O Gopinatha, you are the ocean of mercy, having come into this phenomenal world, you expand your divine pastime for the sake of the fallen souls. O Gopinatha, I am so sinful that although all the demons attend your lotus feet, Bhakti Vinoda has remained in worldly existence. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Okay. Can see, no?
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, please
Okay.
co-host. Make co-host for
Oh,
me.
sorry.
It's okay.
I usually make it in the starting only. I forgot. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the class. So today we have on Sri Shamananda Pandit. Actually, we have heard very less about him, but he is very exalted devotee, and it's so mesmerizing to hear about his pastimes. He's one of the greatest devotee, and he is also like his Shiksha Guru is Srila Jiva Goswami. So we know like three of them who started the transcendental book distribution, right? So whom Jiva Goswami gave the work to Srinivas Acharya and Narottama Das Thakur and Shamananda Pandit. So he was also one of them, right? So he is also Kanaka Manjari in spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan. He is Kanaka Manjari. Sri Shamananda Prabhu was a servant of Subala in Krishna Leela. He was disciple of Hridayananda or Hriday Chaitanya, who was disciple of Gauri Das Pandit. Gauri Das was Subala in Krishna Leela. So his Siksha Guru was Jiva Goswami. So Diksha Guru was Hriday Chaitanya. So whose guru was Gauri Das Pandit. So Gauri Das Pandit was a Gopa boy, like his name was Subala in Krishna Leela, it is said. Sri Shamananda was known in this world as Hridyananda's dear disciple. He was grand disciple of Subala Shaka, uh, the most dear friend of Supreme Lord. He was the crest jewel of the enjoyers of sacred rapture. May he appear day and night in my mind, bringing an appreciation for the essence of joys of the beloved of Sri Radha. Yamloka bhuvi kirtayanti हृदयनन्दस्य शिष्यं प्रियं सख्ये श्री सुबालस्य यं भगवतः प्रेष्ठतानुष्ठितं Shishyam Tatha Sa Shriman Rasikendra Mastaka Manish Chitte Mama Harshinam Shri Radha Priya Narma Marmasu Ruchim Sampadyam Bhashatam. So basically, this is written by Rasikananda, who is a disciple of Shamananda Pandit. So it is called Shamananda Shataka. So Shataka means 100 verses. So this is written by Rasikananda Murari Das, who is happened to be disciple of. So in glorification of Shamananda, he has written 100 verses. Just imagine how much glorious he should be. Like this is one of the verse in appreciation of him. So Sri Shamananda, Srinivasa and Sri Narottama are all eternal associate of Sri Gaurasundara. For the purpose of preaching the holy message of Sri Chaitanya all over the earth, they appeared within this world. Simply by accepting, so this is also from the verse by Narottama Das Thakur. Simply by accepting that associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are eternally perfect, one may attain the service of Sri Krishna in Vrindavana. So, Sri Shamananda Prabhu was born in Utkala. So, whatever I'm going to tell today is based on lecture I heard from His Holiness Indradyumna Swami. So, who is disciple of Prabhupada's direct disciple. Okay. So, but it is you can Google it in YouTube, and I request you all to watch, because such a beautiful video and so much realization he has. Of course, it's almost like a 3 hours video. So not be able to cover everything, but some of the points I take from that. So he was born in Utkala in a place called Dharendra Bahadurapura. His father. Okay, somebody wants to read? I'll read this slide. His father name was Sri Krishna Mandal. His mother name was Sri Durika. Sri Krishna Mandal, who was in the dynasty of six Gopas. So his father was from the dynasty of six Gopas and had sired many sons and daughters who had passed away before his son took his birth. Because of greatest misfortune which had befallen his family, Sri Krishna Mandal named the boy Duki. So basically, before Duki, Krishnadas was born, before Duki, his son was born, many children died. So his parents were very sad, right? Obviously, they lost so many children before him. So they kept him as Duki. Duki means the sad one. So why they kept, so it is explained, because they kept so that Yamaraj, right? Yamaraj will not trouble him, because Yamaraj will trouble if we are happy, no? So they thought that if we keep Duki, then Yamaraj will never come to him and he will not trouble. So that was their intention, to keep the name as Duki, the sad one. So everyone said the boy would become a great person, a Mahapurush, on an auspicious moment on the full moon day of the month of Chaitra. He appeared within this world by the mercy of Lord Jagannath. So actually, he also, like when he was growing up, so there were great symptoms, and when he was going to a schooling, right, when he was put into school, like very soon he was able to master all the subjects. He learned Sanskrit, poetry, and all that. So everybody could see that he was very easily, like learning was not at all difficult for him. So yeah, because he had come to preach the glories of Jagannath, the Lord himself protected him as he grew up. The boy was so beautiful, he was like Cupid himself. All eyes were fixed upon him. So Cupid is considered to be one of the so beautiful, like their Gandharvas, they come, the Cupid, Manmata they call, no? So Krishna is also compared to, Krishna's beauty is surpasses thousands of Cupid, it says in Brahma Samhita, no? Kandarpa Koti Kamaneya Vishesha Shobham. So here also we see Shamananda's beauty is compared to that of Cupid, and he had a special interest in hearing the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. If somebody has raised hand,
Hare Krishna, Archana Mataji, you can read.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
His father, Sri Krishna Mandala, was a great devotee of Krishna. Seeing his son always engrossed in thoughts of Gaura Nityananda, he told him to take mantra initiation. The boy said, Hriday Chaitanya Prabhu is my guru. He lives in Ambika Kalna. His guru is Gauri Das Pandit. Those two great brothers, Sri Gaura and Nityananda, always reside in his home. If you give the order, I will go to him and become his disciples. Upon reaching Ambika Kalna, he began inquiring from the local people where the house of Gauridas Pandit was. There he found Hridaya Chaitanya Prabhu. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So when he was growing up, Duki, right? So he was having the interest, like he realized that what is the importance of taking Diksha, shelter of a guru. So he told his parents that I want to take Diksha. So they then he only said that I know that there is one person by name Hridaya Chaitanya, and I want to take Diksha from him only, right? He said, and then he heard about him, so he said that I want to take from him. But it is said that the route, the from there he had to go to Vrindavan. So the parents were not. I mean, it is, sorry, not Vrindavan. It is called Ambika Kalna. So the parents were afraid, like he was a small boy. How can they send him to through the forest place? So they said they avoided initially, and then but by seeing his interest, right, he was so fixed in that. So the parents finally they agreed and they allowed him to go. So when he reached his guru, Hridaya Chaitanya was in meditation. He was also an exalted devotee, and he was in a meditating upon the pastimes of the of Radha and Krishna. So immediately, what happened? So immediately his meditation broke. Actually, his meditation was not on Krishna and Radha. Basically, he was in Sakyaras. He was seeing Krishna as Sakyaras, like Gopa boys, like a friendship. There are five rasas with which we can associate with Lord. Can someone say what are the five rasas? Which are the five rasas?
Dasya rasa, Madhurya rasa,
Shantarasa.
Yes.
Vatsalya.
Shantarasa.
Yeah. Can you tell the order? Shantarasa from the bottom to the top. From Shantarasa and then Dasya, right?
Shanta, Dasya,
Sakya,
Vatsalya.
Madhurya. Yeah. So he was actually meditating upon Krishna in Sakyaras. So his meditation broke, but when he saw him, he was very attracted towards his disciple, right? I mean, he saw him, but he could he gives the example, like just like how an expert jeweler, he can, like in the mid of, like there are many glass pieces, in that he can identify which is real diamond. So immediately he could see by seeing him that this person is not an ordinary boy, right? He accepted him as his disciple, and then he gave him the name as Duki Krishna Das, right? He gave him this Duki Krishna Das, became his name. So yeah, Mataji, continue.
Duki said, I want to render service at your holy feet. I have come a long way from Darendra Bahadurpura. I was born in dynasty of 6 Gopas. My father's name is Krishna Mandal. My name is Duki. Hridaya Chaitanya was pleased with the sweet words of this young boy. He said, from now on, your name is Duki Krishnadas. Seeing Das's determined service, his bhakti, and his deep intelligence and understanding, Hridaya Chaitanya ordered him to go to Vrindavan to seek out Jiva Goswami. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. So now he was doing a very nice service, very much dedicated he was to his guru. So after some time, he says that he want to go on a pilgrimage. So he goes on a pilgrimage for 8 years. So 8 years he goes, and then he comes back. So his guru was waiting for his disciple to come. And then he was very pleased because he was advanced in Krishna consciousness. And then he gave him a special service. He says that you have to water the flowers of the garden where the flowers are offered to the deities. So deities are Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, so that they were worshipping. So this he was doing. So every day he used to go and he used to forget because he was so much involved. He was in the service of the Lord. So he forgot how many times he used to bring the water from the in the pot. Right? Many times he used to bring and he used to water it, and with all I mean so much dedication. So what happened over the time, continuously he was doing that seva, and suddenly there were wound in his head, and then there were it was the blood was oozing out from his head. He didn't even notice that also. And also there were worms was coming out from the blood. So he didn't realize anything. So suddenly one day what happened, his guru was observing him doing the seva, and he comes near to him and he keeps the pot down. Then some worm fell, and then he saw the blood, and he was shocked, and he was like, he embraces him by seeing like so much dedicated he was. And then he because he was not an ordinary person, his guru, he touched his head. So by his mystic power, immediately that worms disappeared and the wound also disappeared. So he was pleased by his service, and then he orders him, now you are capable, right? Now you're capable of going to Vrindavan. So going to Vraj is not a joke. Like Maharaj was mentioning, like we should think that needs a lot of mercy. And he said that now you are capable. See, after doing so much of seva, he says now you go to Vraj and you meet Jiva Goswami, right? So so then he leaves as per the order of his guru. He goes to Vraj. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sri Krishna Dasa bowed his head and accepted his guru's order to leave for Vrindavana. Upon knowing that Dukhi Krishna Dasa had been sent by Hridaya Chaitanya to work under his direction, Sri Jiva Goswami was very happy. Sri Krishna Dasa carefully served Jiva Goswami and studied the scriptures of Goswamis very seriously. At that time, Srinivas Acharya and Narottamadas Thakura also came to study the Goswami scriptures under the authority of Jiva Goswami. Krishnadas would meet with them and study the scriptures together with Srinivas Acharya and Narottamadas Thakura. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So now his guru said that you are elevated, right? So now you can go to Braj. So it's mentioned that even Prabhupada says that we are not qualified to worship Radha and Krishna. That is why in temple, so Radha Krishna are worshipped as Lakshmi and Narsimha, right? So, but still we keep in the temple Radha Krishna, but then Gaura and Nitai are also kept. Like the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is kept. So that we have the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that there won't be any offense. Otherwise, there will be offense, right? When we do so it is not for everyone. So and then it is said that in association of Jiva Goswami, that he developed his consciousness was even more elevated. And after some time, so he was sent, like Jiva Goswami, right? He was the one who took care of the he preserved all the books written by the acharyas, the all 6 Goswamis, right? The other 5 Goswamis. And he sent them to distribute this in different places, like in Bengal, Orissa. And so he sent these 3 disciples, right, to study the scriptures and distribute. Yeah. Study. Okay. Here there is no about distribution, is not there. Okay. Study the Goswami scripture on the authority of Jiva Goswami. Yeah. So he was these 3 were his studying together. Yeah.
Krishnadasa prayed for service that would bring him closer to Jiva Goswami. When Jiva Goswami saw this, he said with joy, "Every day you must draw some water from Kannada Kunja." From that day on, Dukhi Krishnadas, with great affection and eagerness, would go to that Kunja to fill Jiva Goswami's water pot. The opportunity to serve Jiva Goswami in this way gave Krishnadas' life new meaning. By drawing water for Jiva Goswami every day, Krishnadas felt a transformation within himself. He would become joyful and his eyes would fill with tears of ecstasy. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So it is said that we get knowledge, but then the realization comes only when a person engages in service to the Guru. Also, here we can see how he is getting transferred. He is getting purified actually. Why is it done? So for purification. So only by doing seva one get purified, and then he gets the realizations. So it is mentioned as also Seva Kunj. Here it is, I see that some different name, no? Kanana Kunja. So His Holiness Maharaj, Indradimna Maharaj, was mentioning that the place called Seva Kunj. And most of the confidential pastimes of Radha Krishna took place there 5,000 years back. And now also it is said that it is not allowed. I mean, they don't allow people after sunset, like after evening, people are not allowed to go there. So it is a protected place. So there he got a seva now to actually he was see there is some slight change here. Here I see that in like ISKCON desire tree, they have given that he goes to it is watering, but actually in the lecture which I heard, it was saying that, and I got a picture also. It was like he got a seva for sweeping the seva kunj. Okay, doesn't matter, some seva he was maybe he was doing both. He was sweeping there. Okay, so it is said that when the dust of the Vraj, he was sweeping, he was in a consciousness, like he was thinking that this is the same dust which Krishna and gopis, I mean Krishna's lotus feet touched, no? And then he would think, by that thought he would be in tears. And by seeing his service, Radharani was pleased, and she thought that, and now some amazing time will happen. So she thought she will show mercy upon him, right? So one night, what happens? So there was a the Radha Krishna gopis and everybody were in dance, like in, because this is called as there are two kind of pastimes. One is manifested, which we all know 5,000 years back when Krishna was there in this material world and he did the pastime. So one is unmanifested, which we cannot see. That is why it is said even in Raj, we are not supposed to do any offense, because we don't have the eyes to see. And Prabhupada was saying, like every time he could see he could see Lord, right? And the pastimes are always happening, but we cannot see that with our eyes, but pure devotees can see. So this was unmanifested pastime, right? So they were having the dance was happening between the gopis, Krishna and Radharani. And Radharani, the dance at one time, dance went so intense. So while dancing, Radharani's anklet, which is called as Manju Gosha. Manju Gosha. So it was which was made of all the pearls, diamonds, and very pure, precious one. It fell off from her left leg, and nobody noticed. So after the dance, everybody returned back to their homes, that the spiritual world. So next morning, so when what happened, Radharani noticed, right? So she notices. One second. Oh, so she noticed that there is no anklet in her leg, and then she calls Lalita Saki. So this is also again a slight change. In ISKCON Desire Tree is said Vishaka Saki, but here in the lecture he was mentioning from Bhakti Ratnakara, right? So it was Lalita Saki. Okay, so these two are like Ashtasakis, out of Ashtasakis of Radharani. So she found that it is not there. And here when Dukhi Krishnadas, he comes to sweep as usual he comes, and that day he sees that birds are very enthusiastically singing and all the animals are very happy. So he could see that enthusiasm in them. And then as a gratitude, what he did, he started rolling in the dust of that Seva Kunj, right? And after some time, and he was casually walking, and suddenly he noticed something which was shining, right? Which was very illuminating and shining from far. And he went near. And when he saw, and he used an iron spade, he said it is said he had an iron spade to spade in his hand, he used it to pick it up, right? And suddenly what happened when it touched current, it happens, no, like just like a current pass. So transcendental ecstasy. So immediately he became, he got that ecstasy, and he was so happy and jubilant by the touch of that transcendental anklet of Srimati Radharani. And there was a Akashvani he heard, which said that keep it carefully, right? Keep this anklet carefully. So then immediately what he did, he in a piece of cloth, at the end of his cloth, he put that anklet and he tied it. Okay.
Whenever he would hear the name of Radha and Govinda loudly chanted in Kirtan, and whenever he would remember that they are divine pastimes, he would become dumbstruck with wonder. From time to time, he would notice a girl who seemed to be a beautiful princess drawing water from the same kunja and carrying it on her head. Brahma and Shiva would be enchanted by her beauty. His service certainly pleased the prince and princess of Raja, Sri Radha and Krishna, so much so that they wanted to reveal themselves to Krishnadas. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, so this girl is none other than Radharani, right? He was like it is mentioned here. And so Radharani was pleased, and she wanted to show the darshan. So, yeah. Yes,
Sacred Tilak Leela. One day, Krishnadasa was performing his regular duty of filling the water pot from the kunja. He was fully absorbed in the samadhi of Krishna Prema. At that time, he saw in the water beneath his pot a wonderfully shining bangle and anklet. Upon seeing it, he was astonished by its beauty and overwhelmed by the transcendental ecstasy. He reached his hand within the water of Kunja and pulled out this unusual bangle. Touching it to his head, he felt a wave of transcendental ecstasy.
Yeah. So, so he was, when he was taking the water, right? So it is said it is water, but then as I mentioned, it was mentioned that when he was cleaning, so he got that and he went to that transcendental ecstasy. So then what happens? So when this news, I mean, when Radharani comes to know in the morning there in the spiritual world, so she calls her Sakhi. So she calls and she tells that go and find out. So she comes down and she comes like a village girl. So and then she asked him, "Did you see this anklet?" Then he says, "Yes, I saw. I have it." Then she says that, "Okay, give it to me." Then he says, "How can I give it to you? How can I trust you? Because you look like a very normal village girl, right? But how can you be rich?" Then she says that actually she was getting a bit impatient, and she says, "I could be a normal girl, but then we are rich, right? It is not necessary that we should not be rich. We are rich." So then then he asked like, "Okay, so whom does it belong?" Then she says that it is actually belong to my friend. Actually here it is said it is sister-in-law, sorry, daughter-in-law. You can continue, Mataji, here.
Yes, Mataji. In that place, that very morning, seeing that the bangle from the left foot of Sri Radha Thakurani was missing, her Gopi friends were dumbstruck. Sri Radha Thakurani said, last night while I was dancing with Krishna by the side of Kunja, the bangle must have fallen in the Kunjas. Go there and after finding it, bring it to me. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, continue. Yeah, I think this you understood, na? So
Yes.
Radharani telling to her Ashtasakis that I think yesterday while dancing, I have lost it. Please go and get it. So now, so yeah.
Vishaka Devi went to the banks of Kunja and began searching for the bangle. As she was searching, she came upon Dukhi Krishnadas, who at that time was filling his water pot at the Kunja. Vishaka Devi asked him, "Have you found a bangle near here?" Dukhi Krishnadasa, seeing this beautiful girl who appeared to be a goddess from heaven, was dazzled by her brilliance. Hearing that ambrosial words from this immortal goddess, he was struck dumb. with the ecstasy of love of Godhead. Vishaka Devi again asked him, "Have you found a bangle near here, Duki?" Duki Krishnadas humbly offered his respectful obeisances and meekly said, "Yes, I have it." He inquired, "Please tell me who you are. Who are you?" Vishaka said, "I am the daughter of a Gopa. Where do you live?" She replied, "I live in this village." He asked, "Is the bangle yours?" "No, it's not mine. At my house, there is a newly married girl." He asked, "How far it lost here? How was it lost here?" Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah. So now conversation is happening between two of them. So here it is said Vishaka Devi, but as I said in lecture, it is mentioned as Lalita Sakhi. And the she says that previously my sister came here to pick flowers, right? So that time she heard the sound of a tiger and she ran away. So in that, she gives that reason, and that but then by seeing her, he could see that beauty, that she's not just an ordinary girl. He could make out by and then he questions her that, right, how you cannot afford such a costly anklet. And then so she answers that we not necessary that villagers have to be poor, right? So then he says that I want to see your sister directly, right? So he says that I want to see your sister. So now he says that okay. Now she says okay, do one thing. So immediately what he does, she reveals her identity. So when she reveals, then he goes unconscious, because by seeing her beauty, I mean, it was not a from a normal material world, na? So it is he become unconscious, and then what she does, she gives him a mantra called Radha mantra. So she initiates him by giving that 15 syllable mantra, Radharani mantra, and then she says that um, yeah, then she asked her that you take a bath in the river. So he take in the bath in the river. Now he take, and earlier she told, but then he didn't take bath, asking why ordinary village girl asking me to take bath. But when he see the form, like the spiritual form, now he agreed. He goes and he takes the bath, and immediately he become a 12-year-old Gopa boy, right? His identity changed. Gopi, not Gopa boy, Gopi. So she became a Gopi, and now by Yogamaya potency, she was taken to. I mean, he was the Duki Krishna Das, who became a girl. Now he was taken to Radharani. Okay, so Radharani was there sitting in a throne in Braj, and then Duki Krishna Das sees her there, and she calls, right? Vishaka calls her, "Oh, Kanaka Manjari, you are here. Welcome to your home." Because why she say that? Say that because he belongs to the spiritual world. And then Radharani pulls her back. I think, did we read regarding the tilak here? One second. Okay, I'll just narrate just like that. I cannot go along with this. I think it is not matching. Okay. So then what happens? Radharani calls him near to calls the Gopi, new Gopi, near to her, and she takes the anklet, and then she says that I'm very pleased with your devotion, right? So by you are rendering very nice service by sweeping this kunj. So I want to bless you with the anklet you have brought. So what she does, she takes some kumkum and she presses with that anklet and she keeps on his forehead. She presses on it and she says that this will always stay. This should not go. This tilak should not go. That is actually Radharani's footprint, right? Her feet, lotus foot. And then it is said it was mixed with the tilak that she made was made of saffron, honey, sandalwood, and camphor. So she used it and then she kept. And that tilaka was given a name also. That was called as Shama Mohana. Okay, that tilak. And then Radharani said, your name, and then she changed his name, that you are no more Duki Krishnadas, and his name will be Shamananda. Right? So she gave her means one who gives bliss to Radharani. So that is the meaning of Shamananda. And then she said, you go and continue your service. And after this life, you will come back to my spiritual world. Right? So, but he didn't wanted to go. And also, not only that, she also, the name appeared on his chest. It is said that Shamananda, she made it appear on his chest. And also, she manifested a deity, deity of Shama Sundar, right? The Lord Krishna. So she manifested from her heart, from Radharani's heart, and she gave that to him. Because before that, actually, he started saying that I don't want to go. Why you want to send me back to this material world? I will stay here. He was saying, and he was becoming very sad. So by she felt merciful on her. So then she manifested the deity, and she gave that, you take this deity along with you and worship. Okay, so worship, and all whatever is your desire, it will be fulfilled by this deity. So then she gives that Shamasundar deity, and she gave 12 blessings. It is said she gave 12 blessings to for this deity. Like whoever, if and it is said it is one of the 7 important deities of Vraj, and where every day the sadhus, they go visit Vraj, and they visit morning and evening the temple. So this is considered to be one of the important deity, Shamasundar deity. Okay, so this she gave 12 blessings. So that is, I'll read one or two. It will take time. So it says, whoever whoever have darshan of these deities, even once with devotion, shall obtain prema bhakti and go to Krishna's abode and never be born again. Poverty and heinous sins shall not enter his home. Whoever have regular darshan of this deity will go to divine abode of Sri Krishna, accompanied by 10 past and 10 future generations. In this world, accompanied by sons, grandsons, and other relatives, they shall enjoy health, wealth, happiness, opulence, desire, even by demigod. They shall move around fearless like lion, freed from threefold miseries caused by one's mind, other living entity, and natural forces. Whoever regularly clears temple of Shamsundar shall go to heavenly planet, and after enjoying all opulence shall enter the divine abode of Krishna. If one regularly smears cow dung after cleaning it, relatives, mother, fathers never go to hell. Any pious person who places a flag on top of the temple, decorate with banners, shall immediately become free from all sins committed since birth. A fortune great soul who regularly worship deity shall attain power to deliver the whole world, and all his desires will be fulfilled. Fortunate person who give garments to deity shall reside on moon planet and then attain bliss on abode of Sri Hari. They shall become wealthy, fortunate, disease-free, attractive. They shall obtain fruits of performing Ashwamedha and Rajasuya Yagna and live eternally in abode of Lord Krishna. So there are like many, like I read now around 6. So around 12 blessings she gives, like whoever goes and visits. So first time, next time, remember, when you go to Vraj market, you have to visit Radha. Now it is called Radha Sham Sundar, because later the deity comes, Krishna comes in the dream of Dukhi Krishna Das, sorry, Shamananda Pandit, and he says that my Radharani, right? She is manifested in a kingdom of. There was a king. In that kingdom, she is manifested in their kingdom. So you bring that deity from there, and you arrange for marriage for both of us. So it is said he brought also, and also Radharani went in the king of Barakpur. So she said that my devotee is there, and Shamasundar has manifested. You have to arrange for a marriage. So that's how the king also, they arrange for the marriage. So so now the temple is called Radha Shamsundar, and the king constructed a temple also for them. So that is the thing. So after that, he comes back. He goes back to his. He was so happy, and when after all that happened, immediately his meditation broke. When he opens eyes, he was in normal, his dress simple. I mean, he would back to his sannyasi, that brahmachari dress, and then he was there. And then immediately he wanted to tell this to Jiva Goswami. So we'll continue. I think these are all the same. Yeah, so he returned to lotus feet of read Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. His heart was filled with wonder at the sight, and he thought to himself, "What have I seen?" Saying this, he began to weep with joy. Thereafter, offering hundreds and hundreds of prayers in the name of Sri Radha Thakurani, he returned to the lotus feet of Sri Jiva Goswami. Seeing the new tilak mark that shined so brilliantly on the forehead of Dukhi Krishnadas, Jiva Goswami was dumbstruck. He inquired as to its origin. Dukhi Krishnadas bowed before his master, and with his eyes filled with tears, he related the entire story to Jiva Goswami. Hearing this, Jiva Goswami was supremely happy. He said, "Don't reveal the story of this miracle to the people in general. From this day on, your name will be Shamananda." Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So when Jiva Goswami saw him, he could make out that something has happened, because he is also an exalted personality, right? And he saw that complexion was changed to golden color, because he was in contact with Radharani, right? His complexion had changed. So he asked him, "So what has happened? Did Krishna had come and bless you, or Radharani, right? So tell me the truth." Then he says that whatever happened, he elaborates everything to Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami was in ecstasy. It is said that he became mad with joy. So, and there were tears of love which were flowing. And then he embraced Dukhi Krishnadas tightly and said that you are the most blessed in three universe, right? And then he said that by touching your body, even I am also feeling, I will also be blessed. So from that day, his name was Shamananda. And he said not to tell anyone. So what happened? Meantime, some pilgrimages, they came from Bengal. So they all came and they found that Shamananda had completely changed. He is having one tilak, and they were from Ambika Kana, where his guru was there. No? So Hridaya Chaitanya. So they all came and they were seeing like everything was changed. But then what they did, when they went back, they told wrongly that he has rejected you as guru, and he has changed his name, and he is marking some tilak, and all this they told. So he was deeply hurt. His guru was deeply hurt when he heard this. And when he comes to know, then he immediately he leaves Vrindavan. I mean, to Vrindavan. He thinks that I want to go and ask him what happened, right? So and then he was told that not to be told, na? So he didn't say anything about that. So he was one second. Yeah. So he was angry when he meet him. He said that how can you reject me? So he takes some mud, tilak, mud and water, and he rubs, and he takes a rough cloth and he rubs it. He rubs on his forehead and all the mark tilak, and he says that you are telling lie. He don't believe, right? He says that you are not all this whatever he says that I've got Radha's mercy and all, he don't believe, and he does. And then what he does again, if it comes back on your forehead, then I will believe, he says. So he says I need 48 hours time. He takes time, his disciple, and he goes to meditation. So he started to chant Radha mantra, which was given by Lalita Saki. He started to chant, and then he again went to unmanifested pastime of Braj. So there he assumed his form as Kanaka Manjari, and then he goes to Radharani, and then he starts explaining, right? All this happened. So Radharani smiles and assures him that don't worry, I will give you protection. Okay, you remember one thing. So you tell him, you remember this thing. He says that your guru, right? Hriday Chaitanya's guru was a Subala, who was a Gopa boy, but then he was assisting in uh, arranging meeting of Radha and Krishna, that is in conjugal pastime. So you remember this word, he says. So he goes back. So he goes, and then when he comes back, immediately everything appeared. The name came on his chest, and the tilak appeared. So everybody were by seeing this miracle, right? They all exclaimed, Jai Shri Radha, Jai Shri Radha. Everybody started to say that he's so now he's guru, right? He now he was surprised to see all this, and then he yeah. So next morning, so so again he said that, okay, I rejected you, right? But then the okay. So then what happened? In some time, there was a some this in Braj, usually the people do like they imitate like rasa dance, Radha, Krishna, and Gopas, like that. So they were doing. There was one group who came and they were doing that dance. So then by seeing that he was so much involved, this Shamanand Pandit, because he was a gopi himself. So he assumed that to be real, and then he started behaving like a gopi. So by seeing that, his guru didn't like, because he was worshipping Krishna as Sakyaras, no, in Sakyaras, he didn't like. So he left from there, and next day he called him and he said that you are not supposed to behave like a gopi, and you are a, because I wanted to give mercy to you because he is his disciple. So I would be you would be only Gopa, you cannot be a gopi. And then he said, he paid obeisances, he asked forgiveness, and then he said, sorry, I cannot, because he identified himself as a gopi. He said humbly, he replied to his guru that I cannot do that. So he got angry and he took a stick and he bet him. He bet on he struck 3 times on his back, right? So he was, all devotees started saying, please don't do that, please don't do that. And then the Shamanand Pandit, he said, no, you all don't have, please don't say anything to my Guru Maharaj, because now he has proved that he has right on me. So that is like a blessing for me. So he is trying to control me, right? So he said, this is actually blessing, don't do that. So it is said that in that same night, he get a dream. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in a dream, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastises him. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sees that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was having 3 marks on his back, right? He was having marks, and then he was like, what happened? Then he said, you have done this. You bet my pure devotee, and he's like my second body. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying this about Shamanand Pandit. And then now he was in completely tears, and he said, like, he was saying, what a sin I have done, I mean, I cannot be forgiven. So he was feeling very remorse, and he goes back and he calls him, and he calls, and in front of everyone he called in front of all the devotees, publicly he narrates whatever happened in the dream and what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no need to repent, you have to arrange for a festival, like a 12 festivals, very grand festival you celebrate, and that is and give prasad to all the devotees. So all this he explained, and then he says he made him, it is said, he made him to sit on his lap, his disciple, and then he said, you are no more my servant, actually you are my life. So this was Shamanand Pandit. So this was the sweet pastime. Yeah. So we can see this. This is the Sham Sundar. So it is said there are big deities and small deities. So big deities are actually were worshipped by Vallabha Baldev Vidyabhushan, and then the small deities are there. So so those deities are the manifested ones, so which are still there in the temple.
Mataji, shall I read?
Yeah, I'm just seeing if it is same, Mataji. 1 second. If I have already told, then we'll go ahead. Yeah, I think, yeah, this is the same. So, yeah, so he felt the offense. Yeah, you can read, Mataji. Please read.
Yes. Hare Krishna Mataji. His heart was filled with wonder at the sight, and he thought to himself, "What have I seen?" Having this, he began to weep with joy. Thereafter offering hundreds and hundreds of prayers in the name of Sri Radha Thakurani, he returned to the lotus feet of Sri Jiva Goswami. Seeing the new tilak mark that shined so brilliantly on the
White till.
forehead of Dukhi Krishnadas, Jiva Goswami was dumbstruck. He inquired as to its
This we read,
origin.
Mataji. Mataji, we read. 1 second.
Okay.
I think this is done, Mataji. Okay, I'll just go ahead. Okay, read this one.
Okay. Sri Hridaya Chaitanya, seeing the new tilak on his disciple's forehead, became very angry and said, "Your conduct is abominable. You are disgracing me." In this way, he chastened Dukhi Krishnadas and instructed him again and again. Dukhi Krishnadas bore all his gurus' chastisement with a cheerful face, for he knew that he had never left the service of his Guru Maharaj. That night, Sri Hridaya Chaitanya Prabhu had a dream in which he saw Sri Radha Thakurani. Srimati Radharani scolded Hridaya Chaitanya, saying, "Because the Dukhi Dasa, Krishna Dasa has pleased me greatly, I have given him this new name and tilak. Why have you instructed him differently?" Hridaya Chaitanya fell at the feet of the princess of Braja, praying for forgiveness, realizing that he had committed a great offense. The next morning, Sri Hridaya Chaitanya called Shamananda Prabhu to his side and affectionately embraced him again and again. With tears of ecstasy in his eyes, he told his disciple, "You are most fortunate." Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So basically, after this, I explained, no, like there was one more incident, and then Guru was like, he completely accepted him, right? He accepted him as his own life. 1 second. So there are different pastimes. Okay. So yeah, this I said, Hridaya Chaitanya get a dream of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then this deity instruct marriage. Yeah, this also we saw, like king of Barakpur and Jaipur. They both uh, gave village for seva. So it is said for growing vegetables or for growing the fruits, for growing flowers. So for that, they gave village for the deities. And then we know that this transcendental book distribution by these three disciples from Jiva Goswami, and on the way that books were stolen, right, by a king. And then later Srinivas Acharya stayed, but the others, they went for on preaching. So later the king also become disciple, and he also constructs many temples, it is said. So, and again, there was a dream for him where the deity appeared. So, deity appears in the dream, and he says that people are more into materialistic. I mean, they're engaged in sinful activities. So, you have to go to a place called Utkal in Orissa, and there is a devotee called Rasikananda. You need to initiate him. So, the Lord comes in his dream and he tells. So, immediately he leaves to Utkal. So, there he starts the Sankirtan, and he starts to do the Sankirtan, and he also initiate his disciple called Rasikananda. So there what happened, while coming, they had to, while crossing different the places, they had to carry the documents, which they didn't have. They were simple devotees. So these Muslim soldiers, what did they do? They try to imprison. I mean, they put them in prison, many devotees. So that night, Lord Narsingadev came in the dream of the Muslim soldiers, and he chastised that they are all pure devotees, you have to leave them immediately. So it is said that they also they went and they fall at his feet and they become the devotees. And he initiated Rasikananda. See, initially we read, no, the Shataka was written by this person. He was also a great devotee, and he also initiated his wife also, wife and children. It is said, like who were around 12 years, like that. So and once what happened, this Damodar Pandit, right? Damodar Pandit was his friend, Rasikananda's friend. So he says, Rasikananda tells his friend that you also take initiation from my guru, Shamanand Pandit. He says that, why should I take? If I see something special in him, then I will think about it. I will take, otherwise I'll not take. So one day what happens, this Damodar Pandit, he takes morning early bath, he does his Gayatri, and he goes to Shamanand Pandit room. So when he goes there, Shamanand Pandit was in a deep meditation. So when he was in meditation, he could see that the room was fully effulgent because of which was coming from his body. And then he sees that Vraj has manifested. He could see the Vraj Dham, and then he could see Lord Krishna playing a flute, and Krishna was slightly smiling, and he saw all that pastimes, and suddenly he was drumstruck, right? What happened? Like he thought that if I see something special, I would take initiation, and Krishna revealed that. And immediately he goes and he catch hold of his feet, and he says that, please make me your disciple. So that's how he got initiated. And once what happens, they were doing Sankirtan. So they were doing in a village where there was a person called Sher Khan. So this person, I mean, he come to know that all the people were taking to Krishna consciousness. He thought that people are converting, right? So this person got very angry. So what he did, he went with his armed soldiers next day, and they started beating and troubling the devotees. So then all the devotees started screaming and all that, and then Shamanand Pandit immediately called for he called Radhe Sham, he called out loudly. So what happened immediately? Like it is said that his cry was compared to Prahlad Maharaj, like how Prahlad used to cry when his father was torturing him to kill, right? So immediately what happened? They all started to vomit blood. So these people, the Sher Khan and his people, they all started to vomit blood, and they all had very big beard and hair. So both caught fire, and they couldn't do anything. They was looking for water. There was river. They jumped into the river. And this person was, Sher Khan was thinking, what had happened? How, I mean, he was still in shock. How could this happen? I mean, there was no one to help him, but suddenly it is Almighty, right? The God himself he did. But he was not able to understand. So in that night, he got a dream where Allah, right? They worship Allah. Allah comes in a dream, and he says that, he slaps him 3 times, and then he says, you are a big fool, right? He says that I am not none other than Krishna. Krishna and me are both are same. And then he also says, I am the Yuga avatar, and I've also, it is my confidential form. I have only come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when he says all that, so next day, immediately he runs to Shamanand Pandit, and he asks for forgiveness. And then he says, please make me your disciple. Just see how just in one association with a pure devotee, how a person changed. And his name was given as Chaitanya Das. And once another pastime, crocodile and Mayavadi, right? So once what happens, Shamanand Pandit, he was traveling, right, for doing this preaching all over. And he reached a river called Suvarna Rekha. So on the banks of river Suvarna Rekha, there was a Mayavadi sannyasi who was passing by. And he said that you are a hypocrite. You are not a Vaishnava. You are a hypocrite Vaishnava. But Shamanand Pandit didn't react. He just kept walking. So then what happened? They in the river, they saw a very large crocodile, which looked very fearful. And it opened a very big mouth, and it was so scary, and everybody were scared. But Shamanand Pandit said O crocodile, due to your sinful activity in the previous birth, you have become a crocodile. Lord Krishna will surely show mercy to you. Okay. So when crocodile heard this, it is said it walked over, like it came over and it bowed towards his feet and it took blessing. And then it moved to the river. So he said, it is said he also initiated that crocodile also. So he is giving initiation and to everyone he is liberating. And also the Mayavadi. The Mayavadi saw all this pastime and he said that, oh, I offended a pure devotee. And he also came and he ran and he catch hold of his lotus feet and he's asked for forgiveness. He said that, please forgive me and please make me your disciple. So he delivered him also. And it is said not only that, he many animals, birds in Vraj, deer, birds, whatever he saw, he used to initiate them also. He was so merciful because we know like initiation is not simple. Like when somebody initiate, the guru takes the responsibility, takes all the sin of the disciple, right? So he is responsible until the disciple go back to Godhead. He keeps taking birth again. So that is the mercy of the acharyas. And so this is the another pastime. So there was another the sacred water, right? So so once they arrange for a festival where they call the guru, ask him Hridaya Chaitanya, ask him that you have to conduct a very big festival and call all the Vaishnavas. So he called all Vaishnavas and he washed, like there were more than 1 lakh Vaishnavas, and he washed their foot. And all that Bhakta Pada Jal, no? Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Pada Duli, and whatever the remnants of the pure devotees. So it is said it is so powerful. So he preserved all that water in a container, preserved in a container. And it is said now also this is available in a temple called Gopi Barampur. So this water is there. And I heard in the lecture, Indradimna Swami, His Holiness, he got an opportunity by mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to have 1 cup of this water, which was the holy, so many devotees, pure devotees that time in Vedic time, right? So this was the so many pastimes. And so finally in 1623, in the month of Jesta, in Narsinga town, so now it is called as Kanpur. So he left from material world, and that is also was a not a normal disappearance. So when everybody when he felt really unwell, ill, and then he called his disciples and he said, please do not arrange for my improvement. Don't arrange for any plans for improving my health, because I have got a call from Krishna that to come back to my abode. So Krishna has already instructed. So please don't try to do anything on my health. So finally he leaves his body, and all the devotees, they did a meeting, and they decided that one samadhi will be in Narsingapur and one will be in Vrindavan. So with this, we come to end of this class of Shamanand Pandit. So, I'd like to conclude with this quote where Prabhupada says, in the words of Vrindavan Thakur, each devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can deliver a universe, right? Lord Brahma can create an universe, but pure devotee delivers the universe. Shri Shamananda Pandit ki jai.
Jai.
Yeah. Shri Radha Sham Sundar ki jai. Shri what is his guru name? Hridaya Chaitanya ki jai. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone. Sorry if I had done any mistake. Actually, some confusion between the slides and the explanation. So, but I thought to tell whatever I heard the lecture, because he is a direct disciple. Obviously, he has more knowledge than what we see in the website, I felt. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Any
Hare
doubt?
Krishna.
Everyone, pranam. Thank you so much,
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, for your wonderful
Hare Krishna.
association.
Thank you,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any doubts or anything from what I said? Or any questions? So I request you all, please watch that video. You can get it. His Holiness Indradumna Swami's. So there is a part 1 and part 2 on Shamananda Pandit. So please do watch. It's a nectar to hear. Okay. If there are no questions, so we can close. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha krupasindubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnavadya ki jai, Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Can we chant 3 times Hare Krishna?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna,
everyone. Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.